All right, hello Twitch and any of our few viewers. This is a off day for us when we're usually playing this show. So I know we typically play on Mondays. Today we're doing it on a Thursday, just for schedule stuffs and whatnot. But we're here to recover after the last session's brutal fights and escape sequence, where I don't know how many people did we spike or kill?
All of them.
All of them? I think yes, all of them.
Five shots, 4 kills. Yeah.
Nice. And I was unconscious the whole time. It was a great time.
Yeah, but you were like the MVP meat shield.
I MVP meat shield. I protected everyone from the blast of the bomb. Not really. But we're gonna dive, I guess, right back into where we were. Well, I'll turn it over to Jimmy, and Jimmy can explain what's going on. So, as always, our
Sure, yeah.
Space Master, Jimmy, please take it away.
So, the crew of the Vanderhorn, also known as Vanderhorn LLC, in the past couple days and weeks, you had been transporting some cargo, some human-ish cargo from Briggs University, a research corporation slash research institute. And had been delivering it onto the planet Al-Masari, to the massive megacity, New Jerusalem. It was a number of 50 or so leisure servitors, sex bots, genetically modified humans to be biddable, durable, to whatever fancies the people who are their buyers. Kind of unsavory practice. You were delivering them to the Taruno Triad, a kind of white-collar criminal gang that operates with some knowledge by the government itself of New Jerusalem, the Raja or the Terranite government, the theocracy there. You went into 2 sessions ago to deliver your cargo at last, having faked your tags, be able to get sort of illicit customs entry for your ship to get on planet and not get scanned or noticed by government forces. You sort of made it through customs, deceiving some people. You avoided the interest with some clutch forwarding of a fake police scanner alert of some of the Order of the White Lotus who took interest in your grav truck when you were en route to make your delivery. These inquisitors, one inquisitor, the Vestarch Joshua Nguyen, took interest in you, but ultimately left without inspecting your cargo. You thought you were clear of them. We'll meet them later. Meanwhile, you headed out to Dino's Dinette and Boom Boom Room to make your delivery to the Triad. You really hadn't even settled in and gotten a drink at the bar before Vinny Taruno, your contact, who was supposed to sort of certify the receipt of the delivery and make sure you guys got paid, showed up. And one of the members of this 50 or so servitors stood up and approached, and was revealed that she had been implanted, was a human walking time bomb, basically, or proximity bomb, as it were. Through some heroics by Maximus, you were able to, and just lucky, good positioning by chance for the party, you were able to avoid the most catastrophic outcome. But the situation was thrown into chaos. Selphie was knocked out, losing an arm in the process from the major damage of the explosion. Your pilot, Carmela Soto, took a brunt of the explosion and was blasted away. Your alien friend, Lepidomo, the one named Atlas, seemed to be vulnerable for a moment, but only to have the explosion wash over him in an instant of almost precog recognition of something that was happening. Maximus himself, who tackled heroically the bomb, was blasted across the room in tatters, but somehow seemingly survived, coughing up blood against the wall. You guys licked your wounds, found the wounded, provided help and succor to them to make sure that there were no deaths other than your faithful companion Joran's, your sort of meat and potatoes guy who loaded your cargo and was along for the ride for most of it. He bit the bullet, but otherwise, you were alive and managed to escape. And as you were going to leave Dino's Dinette Boom Boom Room, one of the familiar faces of the Inquisitor entered. There was confusion everywhere. He saw 3 or 4 injured people trying to get away, and his interest was in securing the room, and he was psychically distracted at a key moment, and Maximus was able to raise up his mag pistol. Is it a mag pistol or rifle?
Spike thrower.
It's a spike thrower, yeah. You raised it up and popped him in the head, right from behind, point blank range.
It's a mag shotgun.
Yeah. It was pretty dirty. But your troubles weren't over then. You got out of the remains of the basement in the alleyway, into the alleyway outside, and found the other 2 Inquisitors who had tracked you down pretty easily, it seemed. They were going to stop you. Or rather, it is unclear what they were going to do, except their intentions did not seem good or helpful at that moment. And Maximus made a snap decision, swiftly executing the other 2 Inquisitors, including the High Vestarch, Nguyen, who had reached out and almost injected a fatal neurotoxin into Varlo when he was able to get within arm's reach. You dispatched with a couple security guards too, I think, that were around, and made your getaway. Just one.
Just one of them. The other one got killed by the dude that showed up later.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, Briggs University did this.
So you were able to throw the just beginning to stir body into the back of your truck, your big cargo hold. I think, who's driving? I believe it would be Max, right? Or is Varlo?
Yeah, I was driving.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and
Atlas probably
Atlas
riding
executed.
shotgun again.
Well, I think Atlas was in the back and executed the dude that we brought with us.
We took the body of the Vestarch with us too. Don't forget.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, we took the body of the Vestarch.
So we've got, while we zoom into the scene, before we get the arrangement in the truck that's speeding away, that some time has passed. There's a light, misty rain falling. It's night, apparently. Probably early morning hours before sunrise. There's a canopy that's been kind of set up, and we get sort of a top-down view of an alleyway with a canopy and some rubble from a building next door. And we sort of, the camera zooms in over this canopy and into it, and underneath we see the nearly decapitated body of one of the Inquisitors. They're notable, if not from the head and being recognizable. There's no remains of the shoulder robe or patch of the white lotus flower that they wear, but this individual had a full bodysuit, seemingly like dermal armor, something that seemed to grow out of their skin itself. And as a woman, a young woman who's laying there, and there are several investigators standing around. A couple figures you can see heavily armed, also in dermal armor, and someone else who looks like more like a detective, more like in plainclothes security officer, and he's crouched down and he's got a data pad and he's staring at the the body, and he sort of stands and straightens and brushes his coat, and he looks pale and shakes his head, and he turns to one of his other plainclothes security officers, a detective, and he sighs for a moment and looks over and says, "Well, are you gonna call this in, or should I?" And there's a pause as they look at each other, and neither one wanting to raise their hand first. And we zoom in, and the camera zooms away and catches up with not many kilometers away the truck of you guys, or maybe a fair bit away at this point. You know, half an hour has passed, and you're in your truck, and you're returning to the site of where your ship is docked, and we see up front Maximus at the controls of the grab container truck. Maximus, why don't you give us a moment, a couple sentences? What do you look like, and what's your expression?
He's like cleaned himself up as much as he could, and I guess whoever's driving shotgun with him, we asked him to clean him up, but he seems really pissed off. He's smoking. Probably got some whiskey underneath the floorboard. But he's driving. He looks, maybe he's a little dirty around the eyes. But he probably seems slightly pissed off for a while, and then he just settles into like a general stoic mood.
Yeah, and who's shotgun with you? It would be either a large Mothman or a very, very nervous-looking scientist, because everyone else is unconscious or dead in the back. Who's riding shotgun? Just for flavor's sake.
It would probably be Varlo.
Cool. Yeah. So we get a moment of Varlo as Maximus is sort of chiefing away, and he says pull, and we see the camera pan over, and Varlo reaches into the like glove box and pulls out a half-empty bottle of some brown liquor, and like helps, like hands it over and grabs a rag and rubs off some more trickling blood that's still seemingly seeping down from the the shrapnel that's like even in the back of Maximus's scalp. His matted hair is somewhere between sweat, rain, and blood, and you're sort of wiping it off. How does Varlo look right now?
Varlo's still caked in like dust and debris from the explosion initially. He's still probably wearing half of like the bar and boom boom room on him, but otherwise, like, basically he's not in any bad shape at all. There's probably like a small bruise at his wrist where the Vestark like grabbed at him, but more than anything, he's just nervously shaking. Like he's handing you the bottle of whiskey, and his hand is just quavering the whole time, and he can't stop.
Yeah. Okay.
Even as I'm like trying to like wipe some of the blood off of you from like whatever wounds you still have, it's probably very, very painful because I can't keep my hand still properly, and I'm like pushing shrapnel deeper into your skin as I'm doing it. It's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Ah! Bats away. It's like, fuck! God damn it!
Here, just drink.
All your patients hate you.
Normally they're not alive or human.
No, God, that makes so much sense now.
Yeah, so there's some shout and whatnot, and it's muffled as you hear it, Atlas. You're in the back. You've got Carmela sort of reclined. You've got her propped up, and you can see she's groggily awake at the moment. She seems to not really be processing what's going on around her. And we can see you're sort of standing over Selfie as he begins to stir, and knowing that he's going to have some surprises to sort of wrestle with when he comes into consciousness. But before we get to Selfie, what does Atlas look like? And what's he doing?
Atlas looks pristine compared, like, you see like the disheveled, like it pans through like the disheveled look of everyone else, right? Like Maximus behind the wheel, like disgruntled, bleeding, and just like not giving a fuck. Varlo shaking uncontrollably, like unable to keep himself well kept. And then like the two unconscious, like very clearly like burned and scathed, one missing an arm, allies. And then there's just Atlas, who's just, you see the hints of like sparkly moth dust sort of float off. He doesn't seem like he has any dirt on him. No blood, just pristine. And like, they're not conscious yet, right? They're just stirring.
Yeah. Like Carmela's basically conscious, but not. She's like awake, but kind of in this like her eyes aren't focused yet on the thing. Selfie's eyes are still closed, but you can sense his brain activity, his emotional state shifting and sort of coming out of deep sleep almost.
Yeah.
So you can sense that he'll be awake in a moment.
I think Atlas just sort of like looks and says, like tells the others, like there's a little ding in their head. Oh, good, they're both still alive. And he just sort of nods and says, "There seems to be no brain damage, no further aid required for now." And he just sort of like lets the others two know, and
Yeah, I think that's good. I think so. I think you're there. Selfie, we'll get your take in a minute. Because I don't want to come back to you and let. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I do one more thing?
Sure.
The minute Selfie comes into consciousness, I'm going to relay the information that he lost his arm.
Yeah. So I want to. Well, Varlo has an immense coughing fit as something goes down his wrong pipe. So yeah, why don't we do that first before we have a little cutaway? Yeah, so you're in the back. There's a very inauspiciously displayed body behind you, Atlas, that the camera sees, but you don't see right now, and Carmela and Selfie don't. But it is a very impressive, bald, completely hairless head of a man and very thick dermal armor, the body of the Vestark Nuyen, High Inquisitor of the Order of the White Lotus. He's in a heap in the back, arms kind of like thrown over. He was just tossed back to make your getaway. But yeah, you see Selfie's eyes open up, and he seems to, when he decides to wake up, that that he's all there almost immediately. You did a good job. You focused. You remember your healing. You did what you could to stabilize his arm. You focused on his internal injuries, and the arm had to be sacrificed in the process.
Yeah.
So he comes back. There's still kind of a raw, thin skin that's going to take time to fully heal and grow into itself. But Selfie, you're lying on your back, and there's like sort of a rattle and a low hum of the grav tank, and occasionally the cargo hold shakes. And you feel the comforting presence, I think, in your mind almost immediately.
It's definitely comforting.
I hear the robot voice tell me I have no arm.
Yeah, it's just like, congratulations, you survived a fatal blow. Unfortunately, I could not save all of you. But one arm isn't the biggest thing to lose, is it? I mean, you still have the other.
Yeah, and Selfie, you I don't know. How do you? I'll do this for you, and then I'll let you take over. You shake your head, and you recognize the voice of Atlas, and you go to like raise up and be like, "What the heck are you talking about?" And your left arm, who's your left? We decided on.
Yeah.
Ends halfway down your bicep.
It's like here.
Right there.
I think after I Selfie hears this, just kind of I raise up both my arms because I don't know which one. I'm like, and I put them down, and I just put my head back, and I don't say anything.
Yeah, how much do you remember? Why don't you give me a roll? Give me
Yeah, and I try to remember. What do I remember?
Give me a physical save roll just for how much you were able to process as the shit hit the fan.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to take it in physical saving throw.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So you're in your mind. What you last remember is walking in through the back door of the. You get out of your system now. Walking in through the back door of the Boom Boom Room, and you're like, I think you might have even been taking up the rear of the big group of 50. So you just filed them all in, and the last thing you remember is looking around. You see like what looks like a betting ring and a pit fight in front of you, and then everything goes black after that.
Is my link open with Atlas still? Or yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, they're just like Selfie like barely has energy to even speak out loud, so he just cyclically goes back. What happened? Where is my arm?
Oh, that's simple. And like you just get a flurry of information of just like it's like a
Do I get
like
like
one of
the
those,
events replayed from your point of view?
yeah, you get like a picture book version though, right? Like someone flipping through the picture book and like the like very crude. It's like 15 frames a you know, like 15 frames a second. So it's like very choppy, and you just get like explode like crazy clone explosion, Atlas saving himself, then going then you even get like his perspective, and you hear like, I gotta save the pilot first because she's the most important. and then you get like, oh yeah, Selfie's important too. Yeah, he can get some
You
too.
see a moment of like Maximus, like from Alice's point of view, Maximus like trying to lift you, and a horribly battered Max, like his leg give way,
Yeah.
and then like you're dragged out. Do you show him anything on the escape?
Oh yeah, 100%. You get everything. So you see like the other, what were they? The Justicars?
The Inquisitors.
The Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the Inquisitors. You see them questioning us. You see, like you hear in Atlas' voice, cold dead hands. and then like you see like just Spike Thrower after Spike. Yeah, at that point it's just Spike Thrower 1, Spike Thrower 2, Spike Thrower 3, and then the escape, and then to you stirring, and then he's just like, you see.
Make a mental effect save.
I imagine it's like
Me?
all
Yeah,
the
Selfie,
events-
make a mental effect save.
Oh, I'm not good at those.
I imagine it's like
No,
all the
nobody's
events, but
no
like,
unless you're a psychic, nobody's good at those. Yeah, you're bombarded. Atlas has a way of taking away the physical, the immediacy of it, because it's sort of analytically looked at from a very foreign alien point of view. But something about seeing yourself blown away, and then the work he does, and like feeling kind of in your body where those psychic fingers had knitted you back together. Yeah, you are. It's too much for you to handle. What happens to you? Like, do you freak out? Do you pass out?
I just start mumbling, oh god, we are so fucked. We are so fucked. Over and over again. Kind of catatonic. Like, I'm not blacked out, but I'm not like cognizant, I guess.
You're not lucid, right? Like
Right.
the lights are on, but no one's
Yeah.
like
It's-
answering them.
Yeah.
It's worse than Varlo's. You see Selfie take all this in, and his eyes go wide, and he scrambles away from you, or just further against the wall, and he goes. His eyes kind of half roll back into his head, and he goes into unable to process this information mode. He's probably gonna be out of it. If he decides to like lash out, he could hurt himself. You may want to think about either restraining him, Atlas, or pacifying him in some way, or be ready to, because he's not there right now.
Yeah.
And he says in his head, he's going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we're so fucked, we're so fucked. To you, Atlas,
Mhm.
he's mumbling. He's going, Selfie's going, and it sort of builds, and it sort of crescendos over and over again. It's this mindless panic, the late flood of adrenaline. It's all of that mashed together in a human mush that you're just like, this is too bad. They're so fallible.
Yeah, I just sort of look at this, and like you see him like pick up his data pad, flip to a page, and it says the do's and don'ts of Humies.
Humy.
Yeah, and it's like very clearly like a a book designed to deal with for Lepidoma to deal with humans, and he flips to a page and it says shell shock. What,
Yeah.
what to do?
What to do?
Tell someone else. You will not be able to help them with this. And he sort of nods and then sends a message to Maximus. I think I broke him.
He's already missing an arm. How'd you break him?
I showed him what happened.
No. Don't
Why?
worry, Kevin. You will be allowed to speak this
Why?
session. You're not going to be gibbering.
You as you say why, he's like, because he asked me to.
You're an awful doctor sometimes.
He would be dead without me.
You
I'm
could
a
have
great-
You could have just told him what happened instead of showing him.
I did tell him.
Never mind. Just
Would and then he you hear him go on to a paragraph context of being
Did you tell him I would build him a new arm? It'll be better.
give him some water. Give him
What?
something sugary to eat.
water and sugar.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those Snicker bars that you always like to munch on, Varlo?
You mean space bars?
Space Snickers.
Yeah, the space Snickers,
Spickers?
Snickers.
Stop. Everyone stop because it's going somewhere we don't want it to go.
It's not gonna go that way. We're all adults here. So could you give me one of those, Varlo?
There's a nervous shuffle in my lab coat, and I pull up this dirty debris covered candy wrapper, and I shakingly hand that over towards the back.
Yeah.
So you reach out. There's one of those slots behind you to go to the cab, and there's an arm comes through. There's a half-eaten candy bar. It's dirty. It's unwrapped, and then Varlo has his own way of I'm only eating half now, so he folds and then twists the wrapper.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But
he
I
likes to save
raise
it,
the wrapper
but it's
perfect.
all it's pretty old, mostly melted from the sweats of panic.
Adds flavor.
Yeah. Atlas just sort of grabs that and puts it next to to Selfie and says, "You should eat this."
He grabs it and starts sticking it into his arm.
No, that's not. Oh dear.
Bless you guys. Bless you. All right. You'll be fine, Selfie. None of this has lasting damage. You don't actually have shell shock. It was just too much for your human brain to take in all at once, especially from such a dispassionate foreign or alien perspective.
I think what really got you right is you got his thoughts as well and how vastly different they were. Very analytical. It was a little too much.
Yeah. There's also a lot of the panoramic shots of all the body parts of the cargo you were once carrying, just strewn around the room. What's left of it that's recognizable, but
No big deal.
there's a moment, Varlo, that you hand this candy bar back, and you come back and you sit, and it's quiet. Max has calmed down. His bleeding seems to have stopped. The liquor has kicked in. He's focused as you could be. And you guys, it was a 2-hour drive, if I remember. You've got some time, and you sit there, and your breathing controls, and you hear the words that Atlas put into your brain. They're gonna be okay. They're both gonna survive. They're gonna survive. They're gonna survive, and it begins to echo in your head. And we get the little wavy camera image, and we sort of go into Varlo's mindscape, and we go into a memory, and we see Varlo younger, a couple years younger, although on your face it could be 5 or 10 years. Then you didn't have as many lines on your face. You looked your age, young. Like your potential was just coming into your own. You didn't have the kind of patchiness of your hair that you have now, the worried lines. You have focus, although we see younger Varlo, if by a couple of years, focused but distressed, sweat beating down over your face. Maybe this is when the panic, the first time you ever had to face it, but you're standing there and there's a terminal you're at, and you've got to hook up to it to a data download to your data pad, and you're hurrying, you're tapping your fingers because the data download that you set up is taking a little while, and you're tapping there, and you turn occasionally and you're looking at another monitor and then looking back at the timer ticking and tapping and tapping. And you look again, and the camera looks at your eyes, and you can see the sweat beading, and your pupils are dilated. And we see behind you there are bodies, a couple of them. We don't know, or from the the audience perspective, if they're you're doing or not, but there are lab-coated individuals who are unconscious, maybe dead. You don't know. You're not looking. You're looking at a monitor, and you can't take your eyes away from it. And on it is like a message that's been pulled up. Can you read that message?
Hang on. There we go. Okay. Affirmation of the order. One property of Vestar Van Durik, esteemed order of the Investigative Sea and Chief Science Officer in absolution of pure vision, a man, Varlodine, has been tried in absentia and confirmed to be removed of all birthright privileges by order of the White Lotus for the crimes of sedition, nefarious purpose, abjuring of will of the eye, and transgressions against the natural order. Oh God. Commit all resources necessary to the extinguishing of this object of sin. No absolution shall be required by order of the High Counselor's office.
Yeah, and this is not the first time you've seen the message. You are getting out at this moment. But you're reading this message and you can't help but read the words over and over again. There will be no absolution necessary. All birthright privileges have been remanded. And we get kind of like a further step back. We get a montage. It's kind of, there's like a triumphant sort of like a graduation music playing, and it's images they're playing in your mind as you're reading this of young Varlo. You're being ushered in by a bunch of very elderly lab-coated individuals and brought into this very advanced fabrication workshop. And the young Varlo's one of the elders points out, and there's a series of technicians who are there waiting for your instruction. And Varlo claps his hands together and goes, "Let's begin." And we get, a series of shots. Varlo hard at work, late nights by himself, collaboration, excitement, optimism even from Varlo. There's oftentimes images of him in this montage wreathed by a big bluish pale light, and as there's a canister, something highly reinforced, seems to be powered, or whatever's in it is powering this lab, and it's floating in some sort of viscous fluid, is fractured crystal that glows with a slight energy. And Varlo isn't looking at the crystal. It's more like that's part of the background, but it's empowering his work in some way. And we see Varlo working over and over, writing formulas, erasing them on various virtual monitors, and he's constantly typing. At times he's yelling at his staff, and at times he's sitting down with them with a cup of coffee and going over notes together. We get a series of images next of Varlo excuse me allergies.
Ooh.
Varlo outside of a containment chamber. He's watching through a small virtual view screen of a big iron or lead perhaps canister, and he's watching. And there's a swirling cloud within it. And the cloud seems to have its own unique patterns that are sort of inscrutable. And this cloud, you can see from the sort of monitors around, is of these small, tiny robots, these nanites. Looks just like a mist, a grayish mist or brownish, somewhere in between, neutral colored mist that swirls. And Varlo watches over and over as this cloud is blasted by a laser. And each time the cloud is blasted, a hole remains in the formation. The formation does not adapt to this destruction within it. And after a series of blasts, eventually the cohesion of the cloud itself that has its own patterns fails, and it sort of fritters down. We get Varlo seeing this over and over again, pounding the desk, and suddenly we don't see what happens in the chamber, but we see Varlo leaning forward and staring at the view screen and turning back, and everyone behind him is clapping. And the clapping melds into another montage where Varlo is at a podium gesturing wildly to this projection of nanites seemingly in the room, although it's in a protected space. If the nanites float out of a chamber and they stand there, and a beam of intense laser energy slices through it, and out of the ground, more nanites come up and reform the cloud, the original pattern that had been formed. And the whole audience, you can see now a big auditorium filled of much older scientists stands up and begins applauding. And Varlo smiles, and he looks fulfilled. We get Varlo in another sort of, and this is going to get back to you doing your own thing in a moment, Varlo, but we get back to Varlo at a computer screen, seems to be doing some very complex calculations, and this time you're looking and you're working with, in some way, this shattered crystal that's preserved in this fluid, and you're reading it. You're producing some sort of readings and using that to make calculations on the side on your own data pad, and you're reading it again, and you're figuring something out. We can see positivity, and then we get back to the testing, staring at this containment field as this nanite cloud is being blasted with laser energy. And after the many trials, Varlo isn't looking disappointed. He's concentrating, and occasionally he's tweaking his algorithm, and he stares, and he stares. And then finally, when the next laser charge powers up in this sort of repeated expected pattern, it fires, and the nanite cloud goes silvery colored for a brief instant, and it reflects the laser light away. It blasts it away to the side of the chamber, not being hit. In essence, Varlo has unlocked some sort of innate sense of self-preservation for this swarm. And we get a scene then, and this is Varlo, this moment sticks out in your mind. Backstage of another auditorium, another presentation going on, except you're backstage and you're seething. Varlo's blood vessels are popping out of his head. He's got bloody knuckles, probably from punching the wall weekly at various points, but his staff's much reduced. Only a couple people behind you, interns it seems, are cowering kind of from your rage. And on stage, we see another person shaking hands with the director of this center. And on the projection screen is the view of the nanite cloud learning and adapting and then reflecting the laser beam. And you're looking as the applause gets up and the whole audience gets up, and there's a raucous standing ovation for someone else for what you developed. Who is this rival, Varlo? You don't have to answer right now. Think on it, though, because they're still alive. The rest is kind of in flashes till we get back to Varlo. We get some brief images of rows and rows of hospital beds, of festering wounds, of a vast gray cloud that sort of sits over it. And Varlo is walking down the hallway. He's not involved, but he looks through a view screen into this sort of display chamber as other people are studying the effects. And you can see hundreds of bodies, the injured, the infirm. And you can see that the nanites there's experimentation going on. Clearly beyond whatever capability is currently available to save anybody's life in here. These are living subjects, whether they're willing or not. And across the way, you can see what we now, the audience, knows is the familiar form of one of the Vestarchs of the Order of the White Lotus. An individual, a woman, shaved head, no hair, no eyebrows, no nothing, but the big, thick dermal armor that's growing out, the big, almost ostentatious cape flowing over one arm, a big white lotus wreathed in silver brocade. And she's watching the proceedings too. And you see her kind of across the way in a different viewing room. And you look, and then you walk on, because these are no longer your experiments. And the last moment we have is Varlo. The words of your superior as you're laying in your room, sort of echoing in your skull, his voice sort of just like supernaturally like ringing in your ears. Your productivity would be best suited elsewhere, where your skills may be deployed more efficiently. We thank you for your service, Mr. Dine. Mr. Dine. Mr. Dine. And we're back. And you zoom back in and you see the letter, and you look behind you, and there's chaos in the lab. I want to know, is it of your own causing, or has something happened unexpected?
No, it's definitely of my own design.
Okay. So, you have triggered something to go off. We can go into it later, because I want to discuss with you offline about what you did and the results. But you have a moment now. You're downloading some personal data, your files. You know your time is short. You have to get out. You have two kind of options ringing around in your head. You can attempt to go recover the fragmented crystal that you worked with so successfully, or you can go and you know where the central memory database is. That's the experimental database for these nanites. You can go corrupt your algorithm. You have two options. If
No,
the
I think
data
I would
download
take the
finishes,
crystal.
yeah, you turn. And so you're going to go take the crystal?
Yeah.
Cool. So I want you to roll me a DC 14 luck save. Just roll me, I think, flat D20.
Yee.
Cool. That's fine. It's not. You obviously lived out of this. Yeah. You turn out, and you turn left instead of right, and you head down the hall, and you come up to at the end of the hallway. You know the central lab, the fabrication lab, where this crystal fragment is stored, or should be stored. You can see in front of you a squadron of Inquisitors. These are not the questioning types, these are the executing types. And you can see them finishing up a quick series of handheld weapon silent killings. 2 members of staff, janitors, a series of people who are getting maimed, not only killed, but also made unrecognizable in front of you. Give me a stealth roll. Give me some sort of the exact roll I want you to have.
Sneak, I think it's called.
Yes, sneak using your dex.
Here we go. Not great.
No, yeah. So you duck down into a side office. Basically, this squad in front of you is blocking your way, and you wait, breathing behind the door. And there's a moment, and then there's a freeze, and one of these individuals, a soldier of the order, has got the little cape and got the white lotus, has a very large weapon pointed at your head. It said, "Stand up. You're going to be coming with us."
Yeah, yes, of course, I will be coming with you.
Yeah, and so you get back in the hallway. You can see it's clear now. You've been waiting maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. You can attempt to deceive this guard right now. You can attempt to do something to distract him, to get to the room.
We're in like a set of labs, right? Like I would be familiar with this facility fairly well.
You basically lived here more than you have in your actual accommodations.
So I'm sure in a place like this, there would be like several kinds of fail-safes for containment in case any kind of like harmful chemical or gas or material were to be unleashed.
There's a clean room, or rather a decontamination room for various purposes. You've never had to use it because it's not what your research is right now, but it's standard issue, and it's roll me. You know the facility so well, so you know it's about 30 meters away. It's right off of the main fabrication room, which was down the hall. He's about to take you away from that direction. But yeah, there's a decontamination room right outside of it.
I'm gonna try and like just make a break for it and head towards the decontamination area and set off like every alarm, fail-safe, lockdown system that I can to buy me time.
Cool. Yeah, give me a roll. Your skill check would be. Let's see. So, speed, stamina, or strength. Exert.
God, all of my stats on these are terrible.
I know. Yeah, since you're just trying to get away, it's going to be an exert. I will let you use Dex. Yeah, it's going to be Dex because I don't think your strength is any better. So you can use strength if you want, though.
Nope. It's not
So
good.
you make a break, and actually, I need to. This is an opposed roll. Oh, okay.
Oh, thank God.
You go to make a break. There are bodies in this hallway, and you make a break, and you slip and fall on your back. But doing so, the soldier who had grabbed you just trips as well. It's so awkward. You stumble, and he's flustered for a moment as you are broken away. So you make a break for it. You make a break to the decontamination chamber, and you get there right ahead of him, and you slam the door shut, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you I guess you fire it. You say like level 4 contamination, basically. The whole facility goes red. There's it was a series of like drones you would know that go active in this. Level 4 being one of the highest would be that there is something alien that is potentially an active threat. It's not like a defense mechanism. It's more like look for things that are alien and attempt to eliminate them. So it's bad. Everything locks down. You can see on the other side of the decontamination chamber the room you want to get into. How are you going to get in there? You see the soldier on the other side bash for a moment the window. It doesn't break. And he goes on comms, looks at you, and then walks down the hall.
Well, I do the thing that I am best at, and I try to patch myself into the system because I assume I set this off at a terminal. I try to wire myself in and try to kind of navigate the containment so that it blacks out in the spots where I need to get through and doesn't see them as part of the facility anymore, so that I can manually open those doors or passages and then continue to proceed from there.
Give me
That
a
way
hack
they just
roll.
show up as like dead spots.
Yeah, give me a hack roll.
All right, let's do that. Where's my program? Finally, something I can do properly. There we go.
Yeah, you kick ass. So you smile even as all this is going on, and even as cold sweats are still breaking out. You see the soldier walk away, and it's perfect because he walks away just far enough that you institute this hack. You know, he basically designed this system, or redesigned it without your superiors knowing at some point. He walks a certain distance, and a security door closes, shielding you off from the hallway from him. You spend some time manually overriding your quarantine zone in this lab in the decontamination and plot out a route for yourself. And then you go to the crystal itself. You go to the containment chamber it's in. You go into the fabrication room. I need you to give me a couple quick rolls, because we can wrap this up to see if you get it or in what state it's in. Give me a no roll about how much you figured out about this thing without being given a lot of information. 7. You know that this thing is a fragment of something vastly more important. You have speculation about what it is, but you daren't say. You also know that the minute it's out of its medium, it's probably, on its own, useless. That doesn't mean what its information it can provide is can't be pieced together more later. But you do know that taking it out will essentially, it's being kept active in whatever state it's in however it's contained right now. Being captured or held in stasis from losing its inherent energy. And you know how to take it out with that roll. So 7's just enough.
Beautiful.
And yeah, we get sort of the finishing montage. You're deactivating, draining this fluid, and you reach in with a gloved hand and grab this thing, and its light flickers and fades, and you pocket it, and then you head to a ventilation duct and start to crawl out, and you've got a mental map in your data pad, and you start to follow this path out. Cool. This thing you took away, do you still have it with you, or did you hide it somewhere?
No, I keep it on me at all times.
Cool. So you make a note of this. Call it, whatever mysterious broken crystal.
Cool.
And we'll talk a bit more about what you know of it and what you can learn of it, or what you've learned over the past couple of years, because I think it's been an object of extreme interest to you. And with that, you zoom back in, and your last memory, Varlo, as we come back to your cab, is not so much like the taking of the crystal, but it's the moments before that, where you watch the guard, the security force of the White Lotus, going and grabbing out people from a room, and summarily executing, and then horribly mutilating them, essentially. And that flickers in your mind. And we get back, and Maximus is guiding the truck down. The customs person has your tags already, so they just wave you through, and you're back into your hangar, and the Vanderhorn's there. It seems to be in good shape, at least as you guys fly in next to it and park the truck. Why don't we take a break there?
Sounds good.
Good spot?
Good.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Thank
Okay.
you for that.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in about 5 to 7 minutes. Thanks for watching.